Hello everyone and welcome to why Tekken 8 doesn't feel like Tekken anymore. To some it died on launch, to others it died on April 1st. However, one thing is for certain, and that is it's dead. And the one thing that could save it is a new game or massive changes that will most likely will not happen because it will transform the entire game to basically be another game. That's why we have to hope for a new game. But let's jump right into it. The biggest reason Tekken 8 isn't a Tekken is because they made the game too easy. Tekken always had an execution barrier that was seen to many as a hard game, not to gatekeep other players or bash the devs to try to bring in newer players, but Tekken was one of those games where you needed very good execution on most characters to make them work. Starting with the addition of buffering dashes and running. This makes combos so easy, so it's very hard to drop them because you have so much time to close the distance. Combos were a skill, you would have to learn to really maximize wall carry and damage. However, the addition of the strong aerial tailspin plus the heat bound just in case you mess up your combo with the dash buffering made it stupid easy, and they made it even easier being able to use heat into stands to make it combos go even further. The removal of strong aerial tailspin, which is unlikely to happen, and heat bound / heat dash changes so combos will not travel as far, which they have nerfed, but they need to just flat out remove it at this point. But I feared that isn't going to happen. Honorable mention to making the game easier is heat electrics, a just frame input, now a move now anybody could do, just doing improper input. The second reason is building off the first reason, which is killing character identities. On launch, a chunk of characters' identities were killed, and some that come to mind are Steve, Jin, Brian, Devil Jin, and that's just to name a few. The hard part of what made these characters got changed to either easy, Jin's high level forward 4 pickup combo, his only pickup which was while sending 4, may I add, if you don't transition into Zen, or completely removed like Steve Shiro combo. Why were these removed? Well, Jin was the poster boy of Tekken 8, so it kind of makes sense, but they killed his identity in the process. Brian's taunt had reduced damage scaling at the release of the game, making taunt jet up or do less damage, even though it's a triple just frame, and the other moves are just frames, I believe. But thankfully they reverted it and they did proper scaling now. But they should make a taunt into heat smash a harder thing, because even I could do it, and that's a problem because it's a lot of damage and it floor breaks. But anyways, moving on. And lastly, Steve Shiro combo. It came from a power crush which led to a launch if you were an elite Steve player, but now it's just gone and you just get a small follow-up. But it's not high, it's not any hype moments anymore. It feels like anybody could do anything now. Like there's nothing like only an elitist could do. Besides, I mean, there's some things that people are finding, but I don't really find it as cool as the things that were in previous games. But moving on, and the honorable mention is Dragunov. While running moves in previous Tekkens were not easy, as tapping forward 3 times and pressing a move is a very specific timing and input. That is just another thing that separated elite Dragunovs from normal ones. But we are too far gone in this department with identities. They're already gone. They're not gonna remake them. They're just going further and further away. With, you know, the addition of making 214 the knockdown now, like, knocks them back and just resets neutral, even though it's supposed to be a neutral tool to poke the opponent. But anyways, we were too far gone in this department. Tekken 9 is the only thing to look forward to. And lastly, the addition of chip damage and the constant nerfs to defense. Only 2Ds, if I remember correctly, could chip you in Tekken 7 with their projectiles, which the 2Ds were Geese, Eliza, and Akuma. In this game, every character could chip you, and the chip situation is better now, thankfully, but it should have never been added in my opinion. Getting punished for blocking and staying patient was never a thing in previous Tekkens. Taking chip for breaking a throw, it's nonsense. If you would tell a Tekken 7 player that they would like throw you in a trash can or something before this game came out. Anyways, in Street Fighter, they recently added where you build dry when you break a throw. So maybe Tekken thought they could do something like that, and well, it just feels out of place. It doesn't feel like Tekken. It feels like Street Fighter, and it feels like this game just feels more and more like Street Fighter. With the addition of drive and heat, feels kind of similar. Not really, because Tekken just doesn't feel normal. It just feels like a party game. But anyways, but they should just not out touch the throw breaks. Like I don't care if King would have took chip damage if I broke his throw. Just don't make him homing. Don't make them you just don't make them homing. That's it. I think I don't really care if I get rewarded or not for breaking throws. Just make them not homing, so I could at least do some counterplay. And then if I do get thrown, if I know the break, then I could break it. Next is normalizing guard breaks and force 50-50s. It just makes it harder and harder to be on the receiving end of things. Like I said, just holding back and nerfing defense. On the top of my head, only a few characters had a guard break in Tekken 7, and I believe they were Bakuram, which he's coming out in, is it autumn? I don't know. He's in the next DLC, which that sounds fun. And Deviljin question mark. I don't know if Deviljin had one. I think he had the charge move, but I think it was bad. Like I think it wall bounced and not like guard braked. So it wall bounced to give him plus frames, but I don't think it did anything. Like if he just fully charged it, or I don't know. I haven't played the game in a while. But anyways, many characters have one now in Tekken 8, and they're very hard to deal with. Brian's heat string that can wall splat you if you hold block and he decides to charge it. If you try to interrupt and he lets go early, it's a splat. It's just a force 50-50 that is just really bad for you. And I know you could sidewalk it, but how many times can you actually sidewalk it compared to actually just taking the damage or just holding block? So it's a big risk you're taking. And they're taking basically zero risk if they let it go early every single time. Unless you're playing Jin, which she could parry for a launch, but every other character is stuck. Another character that has it is Paul. He could do that string for Oki, which you're gonna eat a big hit on the ground if you take the guard break. If you stand up, you get guard broken, you get shoulder checked into a full combo, which you could do the same string again. And then 50-50 you. So it's really fun. And this has been in season 1. This is not just season 2 things. These are just season 1. Now 50-50 stance offense is what season 2 is, on top of these 50-50s. But anyways. And lastly, Kuma, Panda, their little roll heat guard break, which is obviously is a high, so it has some counterplay, but it's still nasty. And plus there's a lot of mids they get thrown out that could just launch you. So is it really that bad? It's not bad, it's pretty good. And lastly, Heihachi's heat smash. He could do a high that could guard break you into wall splat, or he could do a mid that's -10 or 11 and wall splat you. It's gross, very gross. The charge move should be -14 for the early variants, I feel like, or at launch, because they're too strong. They're getting away with nothing or with murder, and I'm getting nothing for guessing right. I'm just still in the corner. I'm still taking chip. I could still eat another one of these moves again, and if I guess wrong, well, you know how it is. Next up is building on force 50-50s. Lars is now just a brainless 50-50 monster, with every move putting him into stance. Some stances high crush, some stances give him a setup worth of distance if you decide to mash, and he could just punish you. He has homing moves to get back into range if he did use the stance to put him away, and to just do the same thing, which the homing move is plus on block. It was an issue in season 1, and now it's just even worse now because he has a full kit of just doing nonsense. And he also has an armor move in 50-50 that has pretty good track, and I haven't stepped it, and it just enforces 50-50. I think the stomp from stance and heat is safe because he could just go into another stance. He just has many good high crushing, fast, low options that are not that punishable. Well, they're like -11, -12, and he obviously is the best wall carry in the game with stronger rail tailspins, because obviously this character struggled with wall carry, so give him a few stronger rail tailspins on top of that. And lastly, just some honorable mentions that weren't nerfs to defense, but just straight up buffed in offense that made defense that much worse. Homing throws on release, all throws are homing. Command throws, normal throws, jack mains, king mains, law mains, we could just run up at like +1 or whatever. Throw in the throw even though you stepped, and then if you're not ready for this throw, you're gonna get launched, because a lot of these characters have launching throws, or king giant swing, or the what's the word, chain grabs, which are very fun to deal with. Party game. And very stupid change. Generic throws still home. I don't know why. Tekken is a 3D game, yet throws cover out my defensive 3D option, even though it's a 2D option. Generic throws are so easy to break, but they should still be launched for attempting a throw and not just me breaking it or trying to do like sidestep duck, because I don't think it was a homing option in previous Tekken, so I wouldn't need to do this. But anyways, entering full crouch from heat engagers, another one which characters like Anna and Yoshi could just enter full crouch and give you aids with just a full launch that high pressures you and really fast. And they can just mix you with mid launchers as well if you decide to duck. But anyways, I think that's a video. I was gonna upload some videos, but this game stresses me out and I don't want to play it. It's cool like playing Jinsto, but every other character just seems so strong and aids and carried. The game's just made for masters instead of players, while defense gets nerfed every patch. In conclusion, the game sucks. I hope this was an attempt to get new players that failed and they realize that failed, so they'll go back to, you know, the Tekken formula instead of whatever this abomination of a game is. They lost so many legacy players in the process. The copers will stay, including myself, and we'll give them another shot, and hopefully Tekken will become Tekken again if they keep on going this direction, which I hope they don't. I hope it was a one-time thing. Then Tekken will die. But I'll see you guys next time. If you guys enjoyed, like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.